technical difficulties here.
Boom. Hello, and welcome back to the Toddcast. I'm on vacation, but I'm still here for you. That's why I call this John's on vacation, but he's still here. So, oh my God, stay.
You don't know
Like,
how many times the guys at the waterfront wanted to call you, by the way. Like, he's
oh,
on
like when
vacation.
Tim texted me and I was like, dude, I'm on vacation. And he's just like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm just like, really? I'm like, you could have asked literally the other two guys that work there because they also have text me. Chip texted me on my first day of vacation, and then Tim was I think Monday or Tuesday, and I'm just like, guys,
Well, Tim
like,
wasn't there, so they could have asked me,
oh,
and I would have told you off the bat, be like, John's on vacay, so
it's okay. I sent the same text I sent literally the other two guys, which was that's fine. I approve this, but I'm on vacation, so ask Scott for anything else through Sunday. And they're just like, he's just like, oh, okay, my bad. It's like, come on, people. Like, I told them in person at every store for like 3 weeks, just in case they don't read the email, just in case. And they're still the only ones. Well, I mean, Todd sent me an email about something, but that was fine. And I sent out some stuff that, like, the stores needed that came to me that I needed to get to them. So it's
ah,
not like, so it's kind of like a, you know, like a necessary evil. Like whenever
yeah.
I'm on vacation, because listen, guys, here's the deal. Whenever I'm on vacation, I will spend about an hour a day just doing emails or website stuff just to get it out there and not worry about things. Like in case there is stuff that is important that needs to get to the stores. Not a big deal. But the rest of the time, all I ask is just don't fucking call me or text me. Like, seriously. And, you know,
Unless it's something like cool, like, hey, John, like, I hit the lottery and, now I'm now $300 million richer.
or hey,
Uh,
this guy came into the store and dropped off like this giant collection, and we really think you should look at it. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I'll be in next week. So, but, or like, I don't know, the store caught on fire. Like that'd be a good reason to call me on vacation, right? Like you can call me for the really bad or the really good, but all the in betweens, I don't really care. There are other people that can do this job. I've prepared this. I've prepared them to be able to do this thing. It is just that simple. I don't get it.
It's
But
because you're just
anyway,
that good. That's the way I look at it.
uh,
You're just that good that they can't live without you.
I will take that compliment. Anyway, so yesterday I did stop at the store though, and I picked up my books, and I also picked up this, which is the first appearance of Carol Danvers. So,
Nice.
yeah, so that was cool. It came in a collection, and I'm like, uh, Ryan, if we get this collection, like, I would like this book. I will buy it immediately. Like, I'll buy it Wednesday when I pick up my stuff. He's like, okay. So, came out and picked that up. It's a good time. Uh, Also, this week on my vacation, my band from like has not hung out. We have not hung out, all three of us together, or rehearsed or anything in 17 years. We took over the game room at the Mills on Tuesday night, and apparently there were still people walking through the mall, and they went over to the convenience store. I guess we're asking, "Hey, is there a concert going on in there?" We're like, "What's going on? Can we go in and watch?" Like, I was like, "Whatever." Oh, Marvin's in the chat. What's up, Marvin? Actually, yeah, next week, Marvin and DP and uh oh what? Uh Grant. Ah, got
I
it.
was gonna
I
say,
say I'm gonna
let you
get
get
it.
it. Let you get it.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get this. They're all coming on next week. Because Grant has a new Kickstarter. DP's in the middle of one. We want to talk about that and how cool it can be for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, I just backed today for the stores the new Good Boy, like something something Las Vegas, like the new series of Good Boy. I just backed
Ooh.
the first issue. We're gonna have some cool like Hulk homage covers and stuff like that with it.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
We all love Good Boy,
Pretty
so
pumped. Oh, it'll just be Grant and Marvin. Sorry.
mm,
Marvin has corrected me. Thank you, Marvin.
okay.
Um, and I'll see those guys at the end of the month at Comics Pro. Well, by the way, it's February. Holy shit, it's February.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Valentine's Day for all you
Fuck
single
Valentine's Day.
peoples.
You know what's more important? Tomorrow, Groundhog's Day. It is my number one favorite holiday of the year. Okay.
And it's one of the best Bill Murray films of all time.
Oh, by far, by far. You know, you can stay in the room that he stayed in at that hotel for
Oh,
like
I
an
bet they
extra.
charge like an arm and a leg.
No, it's only like an extra like $50 or something like that. Like it's like a
Oh, that's
real.
not that bad.
Yeah, like it's a very small hotel. It only has like I think like 20 rooms in it or something.
Yeah,
It's right downtown Punxsutawney. It's right across from the McDonald's.
yeah.
So, which
Which
Gobbler's
actually I
Knob is
think was
like,
in the film too, if I'm not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistaken.
We used to play like my high school band used to play in Punxsutawney a lot over at a youth center um on the other side of town. Like we had to go through the square and then it was kind of over by the river. But I've only ever been to Gobbler's Knob like twice in my life. And one I was never there in high school. I went both times in college. And but in high school I used to like sit there and watch it with my professor, like my teachers, and we would look for people that go to school there so we could rat them out so they could get detention for it. It was a good time. But in college, we said fuck it and we went up there. But because of the movie, like you can't drink on Gobbler's Knob anymore. They used to be able to do that, and eventually it got to the point where there was some dude running around naked, and they were like, "Yeah, we should probably not do this anymore." So
Always the naked people that ruin things for people.
I know, right? Stop being naked, people. Stop it. So anyway, it's really not a lot of nerd news going on. I mean, unless you guys saw all of our awesome announcements. We have a lot of cool announcements that kicked in this week. Um, like Jim Rugg's going to be at the show um, for just Saturday, but that's still cool. We still love you, Jim. Um, Justin Jordan is on board. His announcement kicked in today, and then I just got the stuff that's going to be announced. You'll see it next week. It'll be kicked through. Franco. I don't know if you guys know Franco, but he did like um Patrick the Wolf Boy, Dino Mike, Young Justice, Billy Batson and the Magic Shazam, Superpowers, Superman Family Adventures, Archimaniacs, Itty Bitty Hellboy, actually all the Itty Bitty books, um, Dead Man Tells Spooky Tales, Ghost of the Owl from Action Lab, Faye and the Moon, Teen Titans Go. It was actually funny because like the first time I really hung out with Franco was at New York Comic Con, or I'm sorry, was it Chicago C2E2, and we're sitting there, and I was like, and Teen Titans Go came on like on the TV in the bar that we're at, right? Like it was
Mhm.
just on because it was like Comic Con, and I was like, so did you guys get any residuals for this? Because it kind of like ripped off your shtick, right? And they're like, nope, but they totally ripped it off
No.
because it basically was Tiny Titans, like how they tell the stories, the designs of the characters. It was all Tiny Titans, like
I'm
um.
surprised there's just not a legal thing about that. It just
Well, I
seems
mean,
like
the
it's well,
DC owns all those characters, so
yeah.
but I was surprised they didn't get at least a little kickback for like the design, but
Mm.
um. But whatever, guns for hire. Anyway, Franco's come to the show. It's gonna be a long, good time. He hasn't been to
Cool.
Pittsburgh since Pittsburgh Comic Con days.
Ah,
So he usually
so
does
there we
stuff with
go.
Art Baltazar. Um, I don't know if Art's coming yet, but we'll see. We've floated that out there. We'll see. It's in the ether. And then I still got a couple more guys to announce. I have our cosplay, our two featured cosplayers to announce yet. I have art to show off. Well, I have the poster art to show off, which will be changed on the website probably. I don't know. End of next week, probably
Mhm.
maybe the week after, whenever I send it to print. And then you're going to start seeing posters all around the city by hopefully the end of the month.
Yep.
I'm really excited.
Posters, flyers.
If you or you know someone that will take some flyers or posters, the postcards are literally 3x5 or 3x4, actually, I think. And then a
Mhm.
poster is 11x17. And I think we're gonna make some 8.5x11s this year too, just to be on the safe side. Cover all the sizes. Um, and it looks really good. I sent it to Todd and he immediately said, "Yeah, it looks great." I was like, "Oh my God, this is the this is the best thing ever." Like we didn't even fight about it. This was awesome. So, super cool, very excited. Um, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, other than that, yeah, the Cranberries anniversary sales coming up this weekend on Saturday, so go up there and get some stuff for cheap. Well, cheaper, but not cheap cheap. And then
Was it? It's new Magic set for all you Magic
oh yeah,
heads.
this weekend's pre-release for Murders in Markov Manor.
Mhm.
Um, then we also have the warehouse sale coming up in April. Um, it's like the 16th, 17th, 18th ish. The dates are on our website. Go check them out.
Yep.
Um,
Our first con that we'll be a part of is the Happy Valley Con, the end of this month. So
yep,
you know,
lots of
fingers
stuff going on in
crossed
this.
it's not going to be bad weather.
Yeah, it's the same weekend as Comics Pro. It's gonna be crazy. So,
Mhm.
um,
I
but yeah,
it'll be my duty to pump you full of Red Bull and other assorted stimulants to keep you awake and
no Coke.
spry.
Just no Coke.
No
Just
Coke,
no Coke.
just
Just leave the
Pepsi.
Coke. Leave the Coke at home. Pepsi, cherry Pepsi, winning. So, okay. Um, yeah. Other than that, there really, like I said, there really wasn't any nerd news. So I guess we can just start talking comics. We actually we've each read at least four, so there'll be an honorable mention for each of us
Yeah.
after our last
Are we
book.
doing the Masters of the Universe? Have you seen this
Oh,
yet?
we yes. Okay, we can talk about that at the end.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
I
We'll
did
do
agree
that.
with you. It was very good. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
okay. Oh,
Let's start.
all right. My first book, Avengers Twilight #2. So last time I did the first one, or 2 weeks ago I did the first one, and I was like, I don't know, I kind of like where it's going. Yeah, I like where it's going. It's very good. This like old man Cap like beating the shit out of people, like trying to get people to understand that, basically like that America is in some kind of weird cancel culture and they shouldn't be. Um, it was really cool. Like there's like they send the Thunderbolts after him because they don't want to send their uh Avengers after him. So it's like a new Bullseye. Um, and like you see an older Kamala Khan and she has a couple kids and Cap tries to recruit her and he says hold on, it's like Avengers Phantom Initiative or something. Um uh where is it? Dark Avengers Protocol are in effect. And I was like, it just sounds so good. Um, but then you find out that also like it's not just Tony Stark's kid that's the bad guy, but the Jarvis isn't really Jarvis. You find out the Jarvis is actually the Red Skull, and he's controlling everything. And then he's getting the Tony Stark Janet Pym kid to put on the Iron Man suit and like he's gonna have to actually fight him. So and like they have the head of Ultron too. Like Ultron's like being kept in like a program safe where they can talk to him. It's really cool. Like the way this is all playing out. It's just very, very good. I'm really liking the art. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be at the beginning because when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know, this art's kind of weird, but it actually turned out like it works. It works for the book, which is the important part.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of like it. It's kind of got like like a how do I want to say it? Like a, do you remember like the old Earth X series?
Yeah.
Like it kind of reminds me of that. Like that's kind of how dark it is.
Mhm.
But this is a really good book. I'm giving this one um we'll do ham, 2 eggs, hash browns, a English muffin, and a cup of orange juice. No, cup of apple
Ooh.
juice. We'll spice it up a little bit.
Ooh.
So
That's
it's
a
very good.
pretty hearty breakfast there. That's a good
Yeah, yeah.
start.
I like it. And all the covers are done by Alex Ross, so that's even cooler.
Hmm.
So all right. There we go.
All right, we got Hulk number 8. Now, it leaves off where we last left off, where Hulk like and Ghost Rider kind of tussle a little bit, and they found out it's like the weird witch doctor esque bad guy. It's part of the whole all these dark force monsters trying to come after Hulk. Um, Hulk is slowly being taken over by this dark force. Um, and of course, Banner's inside that alter ego mind space thing. He's fighting off this dark force. Eventually, Hulk kind of regains control and they beat the crap out of this, what do you call itself? Ginny DeGaulle. I my pronunciation's awful with this, but yeah, him and the Ghost Rider kind of fight as a tag team type deal. They defeat this monster, but this there's like the foreshadowing of the girl that Hulk's going after or looking after and this mother of monsters. It's all coming to a head. This is like a real slow build. But this seems very nostalgic as far as um, recent nostalgia of Immortal Hulk, where it's a lot of dark monsters that you can't really put your finger on what it's really is. You keep getting these little hints here and there of, oh, this is the mother of darkness. There's this, that, and the other. And, I'm down for it. Like, I loved Immortal Hulk. I don't think it's on the level of Immortal Hulk, but it's close. It's much better than the Donny Cates Banner riding Hulk is a starship thing. The concept was. I'm thinking about. I was like, that's sounds cool, but it didn't quite turn out on the page as this is. I'm kind of
I
better
like
with
you didn't
this.
like Hulk Sword? I liked Hulk Sword.
I saw where he was going with it, and I
Yeah.
understood like the premise, but it just got so ridiculous. You're like, okay.
Hmm.
This is more down to earth Hulk, but you're still getting dark forces. You're still getting the battle between Banner and Hulk, like battling for the body type deal, which I'm all for. It's better that they don't get along than when they do get along, in my
Hmm.
mind. But I'm giving this a solid, like, give me a omelet with some mushrooms and spinach in it, maybe some little bit of jalapenos for some spice. Uh, maybe a couple pieces of bacon. It's good for what it is, but I'm looking forward to what's coming down the line further into the series here. So
Cool. All right. My next book is Duke number 2. I swear I can speak today.
boop with
I
you.
am like Book the Duke today. My nuke's book is Duke. Oh man, I'm just out. No, so this this book, I just fucking love it, man. Like, I can't tell. I don't know why, but like, I like the art. I like the writing. This picks up kind of where we left off, and Duke meets Clutch. Clutch was a Joe that like would work on cars. So he gets to his house and he's like, "What are you doing here, man?" And he's like, "Oh, just have some bullets in me, some shards of glass from jumping out a window, the usual." And then like this girl comes out of his bedroom and he's like, "Oh, I heard a scream." And she's like, "Oh yeah, hey, this is my buddy Duke. This is and she gets so mad she smacks him and walks out because he couldn't remember her name. Um I thought that was hilarious. So anyway, he patches him up, plays around with the gizmo that he took. Destro gets an alert. Um and then all of a sudden they're standing in the junkyard, get ready to get in the car, and they hear music and they're like, "Do you hear that?" And then all of a sudden rock and roll opens fire on them. And they jump, they get out of the way, and they get in the car and they drive away, and he sends like drones after him. The drones are shooting at the car, and Duke's like, "I think this is going into a trap." And then Stalker ends up shooting the car. Um and Clutch, I think he's got like a concussion because he remembers her name is Shirley. He's like, "Come back to bed, Sherry." Um, so they take him into custody. Um, they take him to the pit, which used to be like a supermax prison. Used to be like a Joe base back in the day. Was the pit that was their headquarters originally. Um, so they lock him up and they're like, we like this is stupid. You really need to like let us go. You need to help us out. We're gonna get out of here. And then all of a sudden you hear a voice that says like, perhaps we can make an arrangement to help each other out. And it's the Baroness, who's in another jail cell. Um, and I like the way they drew her. I like everything about this book. Like I said, the art's good. The writing's on point. It's everything that a grown up who grew up with G.I. Joe wants to read. Um, it's very that 80s nostalgia that we talked about a lot with Josh last week. And we'll talk a little bit more about with the He-Man stuff later. But I give this book, I'm going to give this one steak and eggs with a English muffin and a black coffee. Like it was very, very good. Like I'm really liking this Energon universe. So yeah, if you don't like it and it's not for you, cool. Like weirdly, I don't really like the regular G.I. Joe book, and I think it's the art. I just can't get into the art, but I like the art on this and Cobra Commander and Void Rivals and Transformers. So whatever. Boom.
All right. Now this came out last week, so this is not uh this did not come out this
Oh,
week.
I'm aware. I
So
had to hunt for it. So
yeah, yeah. Well, this is kind of one of those weird Thor series where him and Loki get along. And it's kind of
mhm,
this is that this book kind of shows the brotherly bond that they have,
mhm.
even though Loki, even though they're always bashing heads, there are times throughout Thor books that they do get along. They do show caring for each other as a family because they did grow up as kids. So this kind of shows that because you don't get to see a lot of it. And, this is kind of a very, I want to say, I don't want to say boring book, but it's very heavy on the storytelling
It's
because
like a flashback book.
yeah, well, it's flashback, but it isn't because it's Loki retelling, like they're retelling the story, and since Loki is the god of storytelling or whatnot, it's going through the this incident where they're coming through. Uh, they're in their original uniforms, like our
Mm,
OG outfits. Uh, and they talk about past fights and regrets. Um, they come to a graveyard gate, walk through a magical forest. They get lost. They explore what looks like a cave, but it actually turns out to be a giant's glove. And they're kind of like they jump out. They're offered food from in a sack that this giant who is bigger than a normal giant, like that they're used to. They
Mm.
said this giant's at least 4 times the size of the regular frost giants that they're used
Oh
to.
wow.
So this is huge. That's why
Mm.
they thought his glove was a cave, because the glove was so massive it could actually be a cave. They try to open this sack, and it's Thor sitting there smashing it with his axe. He can't even get the sack open for food. Um, he gets so frustrated, he ends up using his power um, to actually hurt the giant because he's so frustrated. All it does is kind of wake him up, like he kind of like a little alarm, and the giant's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "Oh, you guys are done eating or whatever," and I guess he's going to take him to the was it Uder Hall, Udgar Hall, which is some giant city. As towards the end of the book, you see the Enchantress and the Executioner are watching over this. Um, so I I like this as it like this would be kind of a cool one shot, but it didn't really fit where the series was. But then again, you always get that lull after this huge battle type deal.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna give this like a bowl of cornflakes with like maybe some fruit in there,
Okay.
Uh, nothing spectacular, but if this is the go between for the next arc,
It sounds like this almost should have been more like the annual or
yeah, like I said, the
like
one
or
shot.
special, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Okay, okay.
I think it's just the bridge to the next arc. But still, it was kind of cool seeing the brotherly bond type deal. And I think that was mostly what this was about.
That's cool.
So I'm kind of chill with that.
That's
So
my favorite Thor stories with Loki is when they have like actual like brother time and it's not just like, oh, he's doing something stupid. I gotta figure it out. So
yeah, that's not what this was. So
all right. Uh my last book that I'm reviewing before the honorable mention is Trinity Special. This was cool because it was a bunch of short stories by Tom King with a bunch of different artists. Um, and it's like it's Izzy or Lizzie throughout the years. Like the first one's like a teenage, like a later teenager version of Damien. He's like probably like 16 or 17 at this point, and John's like early 20s because he was kept in that volcano for a while, and they're babysitting her, and they're arguing about whether or not like that or John should go to save this um dam that's bursting because he doesn't want to be left alone babysitting her. Um and like he ends up like teaching her how to say fuck by accident. Um so John goes to do the thing and he's like, well, if he's gonna go out, we're gonna go out. So he dresses her like Robin and she calls herself Wonder Robin. And Damien teaches her how to tie his shoes. And then they go and fight Killer Croc. And while Damien's like really trying, like she's like, "Oh, I think I should kick it." He's like, "No, don't do anything. Like, don't interfere. Don't do anything." She's like, "I'm gonna kick it. You're gonna get kicked by Wonder Girl or Wonder Robin." And she kicks Croc, and he like goes through the wall. Like, it was awesome. Um, then the next story is where she ends up dealing with the Black Mercy in the Fortress of Solitude because they're not paying attention, and she ends up getting the Black Mercy on her. The Black Mercy is a um like a species thing that'll make you um just see like basically be in a dream that's like your your biggest desire, and her biggest desire is to have the two her two brothers, like the John and Damien, like actually like respect her and treat her like she actually has respect. So like they're like gladiators, and she's the queen of Theramaskia, and it's like you're in a coliseum, and they had to fight, and they're like, we don't want to fight you, or blah 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 blah. And they realize that the only way to get the Black Mercy off is that John has to hold Damien, and Damien has to pull it off because Damien let me read this part with me. The Black Mercy feeds on hope. It feeds on love and joy and amplifies them. Um, but you're Damian Wayne. You don't have any joy. All your sadness and moping and whatever. It can't feed on you. You can't touch, or you can touch it. You can pull it off. You can be the gloves. So basically, like he's just like shitting on Damien for being a jerk, and so they use it to pull it off. At one point, he's like, "Are you even pulling?" He's like, "You're gonna pull up my ribs." Um, so like they save her from that, and then the last or the second to last one is they're on Theramaskia, and they decide to do a kangaroo race, and Hoppa Junior is hers because Hoppa Senior is Wonder Woman's. And they're just like, she's gonna cheat. Like this isn't gonna be like good at all. And they're like, whatever. So she takes off. She gets like a big lead. She starts looking back, like, hey, like how's that feel to eat? How's it feel to eat kangaroo farts, right? And they're like, you need to turn around. There's a cliff, and she's like, oh crap. And then she's like, fuck it, and they just jump over it anyway, and they make it. And she's like barely there. She's just like, I win.
Jeez.
It's very fun. And then there's another one that is oh sorry, there's I guess another one that's the second to last, or this is the last new one. Um it's called Mothers and Daughters, and it's like a coliseum out there in Mesquite where like they have to basically get shot at to use the bracelets, and it keeps going back and forth between Diana and Hippolyta, and then Lizzie and Diana. Um and then when that's over, uh it goes into the Trinity special that we've already seen, like where they go in the cave, and she ends up wielding all three of the lassos. So she has her mom's golden lasso, she has Donna's blue lasso, and then she has the black lasso. But we don't know what the black lasso does yet. Um, and we just know that there's a guy in a cell that they're talking about that they have to that's going to help save the guys that are stuck in the cave once you got the lasso. So I'm gonna give this. Oh man, this was cool because it was like a lot of little things. So I'm gonna go with it is 4 packs of different Pop Tarts. With with a glass of chocolate milk because
Oh, nice.
it's just that weird, and like it was that fun too, right? Like
Okay.
and only half the Pop Tarts are warm, the other half are cold. So I
Oh,
I actually I actually prefer cold Pop Tarts, but whatever. Um,
it
but I
depends on the flavors, to be fair.
right, but
Depends on the.
I really enjoyed it. I really I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her in the DCU. And then my honorable mention is Ghost Machine #1. This was cool because it's like basically like I don't know, like 5 or 6 samples of comics and like backstories for characters. One that I'm actually looking really forward to is what book is this going to be called? But it's basically like almost like a Fantastic Four type book. It's called the Rocket Fellers. And it's like a family of geniuses. So I
Okay.
really am kind of looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to Red Coat, which is pretty cool too. So if you haven't caught that, you can. I'm pretty sure no one has this, and you could probably have to buy it online because it's probably going for a lot because there's a whole bunch of first appearances. Um, but definitely check it out. I thought it was good. So
All right.
Volpadini.
Yep. And I tell you what, we thought last issue was like bloody and gory. Um, this one said hold my beer. Because holy cow. I mean, it's just slaughter after slaughter after slaughter. This is not like this reminds me of like the Frank Miller, like how like his was very adult, serious, you
Yeah.
know. This is like this is serious, and then they're like, oh, by the way, it's like tons of death. And like Chip, I was talking to Chip about this in Waterfront today, and he's
Did he
like,
hate it?
no, he's like, I was wondering why so many people are like buying Wolverine. I'm like, yeah, it got real. Like a lot of stuff got real in this. Let's see. They tie Wolverine up with an antidantium rope. And I'm going to
Oh,
use rope in quotation marks because apparently they hunted down an Omega Red who had these as his tentacles and ripped it out of him. And they're using it
okay.
on Wolverine to tie him down. They go in to kill the rest of the mutants in the dome. Um, it's X-23 and Domino start fighting the shape shifting Sabretooth, the handsome Sabretooth, and the female Sabretooth.
Hmm. The
Um,
handsome Sabretooth.
yeah. Well, he's the bitch boy. I'll call him the bitch boy Sabretooth.
Wow.
Sage and Tom, Black Tom, are still paralyzed. Um, as Cap Sabretooth attacks Colossus. Um, and then regular Creed Sabretooth is killing like all the innocent like mutants. He's just slaughtering them all. While Wolverine is sitting there, um, it's probably one of the grossest part of the book. He sits there and he's like, my bones may be, unbreakable, but my tendons aren't. He literally cuts himself out by cutting his own tendons off.
Ugh.
And then he's
Ugh.
crawling into the dome to see who he can save. Um, Aurora and North Star come and they try to save as many people as they can. Um, Domino gets shot, but she ends up like her luck, you know, she survives. She did take down one like of the headless Sabretooth army guys. Uh, Laura took out Bitch Boy Sabretooth. She just slices his head off. So there's one down. He's done. But everybody finally kind of regroups and they realize that Laura has been kidnapped. Um, so, like I said, this was wow. I'm giving this like since it's all bloody, let's give it all the meats. We're gonna give it ham, we're gonna give it steak, we're gonna give it some nice juicy roast beef. Uh we're gonna roll that all up um into a giant breakfast burrito.
Nice.
And it's just, it's this is like one of those like I think a lot of Wolverine fans have like, oh, he's gone too soft and the stories are kind of, you know, very for children.
Mhm.
This part of the Wolverine volume is not for children. This is
Okay.
not a kid's. So anybody who's like, oh, I want Wolverine, pick another book. Now, do not
Wow.
show your kids this stuff. But for adults like us, this is, it's awesome. Is what we kind of want with like a saber tooth war. It's what you would expect.
Right.
So I'm cool with it.
Right.
And my honorable mention, and this again, this was from last week's. This was Resurrection of Magneto, and this is one of those ones that are like, it's not all about Magneto, but this has got a lot of Storm being a badass like she is. And I appreciate like this current version of Storm
Hmm.
because they're like, oh, you badass, we're gonna turn it up to 11 because she's just, she's doing everything she can to bring back Magneto from basically hell, the
Hmm.
hell dimension. So and keep an eye out on this. I think this is going to be one of those unsung X books.
Hmm.
So
That's cool.
yep.
Also, not an honorable mention, but just pointing it out, the Spider-Man 252 reprints came out again. If you didn't get one, they also did the foil. Ooh, shiny. So make sure you pick those up too, especially if you're going to be at the show because Ron Friends, he may have drawn that or something, uh, or
Unless
something.
you have the original, then hey, more
I already
power to
have.
you.
I have two signed, one not signed, and one of them's graded. So I don't really need a third. I just picked them up because if I want to read it, that's the one
Yes,
I'm going to read.
yes,
So yeah, or if you need a reader copy, that's a thing you can do. Just pick
yep.
one of those up. Um, all right. Also, I forgot to mention, Tony and I set up at the Butler Toy Show this weekend. It was really good, a lot of fun. Ran into a lot of people. In fact, if you watch Cash Branson's video where he made like a video montage of the day where he is like through glass and like sticks his man titty up against the window. I took that video for him because it was originally him doing that and me going over and being like and everyone and Tony being like, what the hell? Like, shut up, we're friends. It's fine. Get over it. But it was a lot of fun. There's another one coming up in July from them, and we'll be there for that too. So make sure you check that out if you're into toys. Uh, so I guess we can talk Masters of the Universe Revolution real
Speaking of
quick.
toys, I can't wait to see the toys they put out for this. The
Yeah,
line for toys.
yeah.
There's some versions where like, ooh, I want to see that in
So,
an action figure.
well, some of it was action figure, like the battle damage He-Man was in
Yes,
this, which was fucking
yes,
awesome.
yes.
Um,
I have to
I
say
love.
they
Go ahead.
couldn't have picked better voice actors
Yeah, I mean the
for
only one they changed was Tila. That was it. That was the
yeah.
only one that changed from the last one. And it went from Sarah Michelle Gellar to Melissa Benoist.
Okay.
So, because Melissa Benoist's husband is the guy who voices Adam and He-Man.
Mm,
So, uh, by the way, spoilers. If you haven't watched this, shut it off. Go away. We'll
yeah,
talk to you next week. Um,
yeah,
but you should watch this. It's only 5 episodes long. It's
yeah,
like 2.5 hours of your week. You'll love it.
yeah.
Um,
I
I
have to say,
Dude,
Keith,
fucking
Keith,
Gwildor though. I was like, I was like, are they seriously going to Gwildor's house? Holy shit, that's Gwildor. And it
I
was
was
great.
more,
It was
I
great.
was happier with uh Keith David doing Hordak's voice.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I was like, you couldn't have picked a better guy for that, you
yeah,
know. And he
yeah, yeah.
was, it he's been like what one of the him and Kevin Conroy in my eyes are probably the best voice actors for some of the most memorable
Mm, agreed. There.
characters.
So this took a lot from the toy line because we had Snout Spout, we
Mm-hmm.
had Rio Blaster, uh
Buzz,
well, Buzz Off was already in.
Buzz off.
He was in the cartoon though.
Yeah.
But those two guys, Snout Spout was in the Christmas special, but he didn't have a speaking line, and
Yes.
Rio never was in the cartoons until now. Like he came out
Yeah.
after the show died.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see. Um,
I think what was it? You saw the was it the Stone Warrior?
the Rock Lords,
Rock Lord.
fuck yeah,
They were
Rock
never
Lords.
in the original cartoon.
No, I think they were. I think there was a special with the Rock Lords. It wasn't in the main series,
Yeah.
but there was a special with the Rock Lords, if I remember right.
Okay.
Um, But yeah, I had 3 or 4 of those dudes.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this was like super nostalgia road for me. I liked it a lot. I liked the fact that they used a lot of the comic book storyline to give Tila the con powers, like the snakes, and turned her into a snake.
Mhm.
I also thought it was really funny when she finally sees Adam and he's like, "Why are you green?" Oh, I did it to help your dad get to the other the spirit realm. So you did that by turning yourself green? She's like, long story. We'll talk about it later. This is so good. I like that we got the Keldor story. Like
Yes. Yeah.
that to me, I think was the most important part of this.
Yeah. The
Um,
Mark Hamill and William
well,
Shatner.
Shatner, yeah.
It's like you're like, huh? And it's like Skeletor with multiple personality disorder. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
down with it.
Yeah. I kind of like this version of how they became Skeletor versus like the
Yes,
like
the
like comes into the castle, tries to fight stuff, gets acid spilled on
yeah,
him,
yeah.
like because that's how they did it in the comics.
And that's
Um,
how they did it in the what was it, the third iteration of He-Man cartoon too. Is that
right, right, right,
the
right, 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 right.
was that 2010s ish? 2010
Uh,
or early
I don't think it was. I
aughts?
don't think it was. I think it was early odds. I think it was like about
Early aughts.
3.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
yeah,
I love that like the
hmm
overall was an awesome in its own
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
but again, I like the way he became Skeletor was much better. I like that.
Yeah.
His backstory much better.
Yeah. I like that they kind of tied in the whole horde thing,
Mhm.
and it makes me think that the next, if he does another one, we're gonna see She-Ra. Um, that would
Well,
be my
you did
next one.
see the
But
after the credit scene with her in it, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
which she looked badass with the horde helmet and everything. I'm like, oh, that's going to be an awesome
Well,
figure.
I mean that, but they didn't show her face though. They just took the helmet off.
Well, the
But they didn't.
someone leaked the figure of her, and you take her off, and you see the blonde hair and the, so it is her. It's just
Okay, okay,
we don't see her, but the
okay.
figure kind of spoiled it a little bit. But
Oh, but that's cool. Like, because I was like, I really hope this is She-Ra before she becomes She-Ra, like when
yeah,
she's like all hordy. I was like, if not, I'm like, this like, could be Shadow Weaver, could be a Catra, um, but either way, she looked awesome.
yes,
So
yes, that
yeah,
the designs for the,
mhm,
like I said, I I want to see what these action figures look like. The
yeah.
This may be the next thing I spend my money on in 2024 is this
Well, I mean,
line
I
is
bought
insane.
I bought He-Man, Skeletor, Skelegod, and Battle Cat.
Mhm.
I think that was it, right? Those are the only ones they made from the last one. I bought all 4 of the last
No,
one.
they didn't make more than that.
Did they?
There was a Moss Man, there was a
No,
Beast Man,
no.
there was Merman. Uh,
Oh, that's right, because there was a blue and a green merman, like they did back in the day.
mhm.
Yeah, and then there was somebody else too. Oh, there was a Triclops, I think,
Yeah,
or yeah, but I didn't get
Cyclops.
any of the. I didn't get any of those guys. I just got the main
Yeah,
guys. So, but if they do a She-Ra, I will be all over that shit because I love She-Ra.
yeah.
So I like the Netflix
It's
She-Ra series actually a lot. So I
the
love that
one
people
done
show
by
up.
the Steven Universe people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that the
Animation. I
animation,
wasn't
but
either,
I like the
but
story. The
yeah,
story
yeah,
was
yeah.
fine with me. It was
I
cool.
liked it because they like made meta jokes about themselves in it. Like it was a good
Yes.
time. But with this one, um, fuck, there was something I was gonna say. Uh, balls. Um, I can't wait. I don't know because I don't. I try not to go into like weird forums, but I see a lot less hate for this one
Oh
than
yeah, yeah. This
the
was a
last
lot
one.
positive.
But I'm
Mhm.
like, really? Because Tila's still the main character in this one. Like, what are you
Oh,
doing?
I think this one was, she was definitely a main character, but you saw He-Man in it a lot as well. And that's like, again, I'm gonna
No, you didn't. He was He-Man for the first episode, then Adam for the three in between, or sorry, for the two in between. Then he was He-Man at the end of the last one because he got his sword back from Gwildor, and then
yeah.
in the last episode he actually was He-Man the whole
But he was
episode.
alive, he wasn't dead type deal,
Oh,
like
right.
that.
But come
It's
on, like they really thought he was gonna stay dead. Come on,
again, it's I'm not
you
going,
know.
I'm not one of the naysayers. I enjoyed it as a whole, period.
I did too.
But I know a lot of the gatekeepers that was their biggest thing of how dare you have He-Man in the Masters universe without He-Man,
Mm,
and it's like, well, again, your Masters universe, there are backstories for all the different characters,
right,
which
right.
I enjoyed. Like I liked Evil Lynn getting her redemption. I thought that was
Oh
cool.
yeah, and like at the end where she became one of the Seers of the Universe, like a
Yes,
Zodak. I
yes,
was
the
like,
Zodak.
oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. I actually kind of
So
want to hope they make a Zorak version of her
me
as a
too.
toy. Would be
Me
cool,
too. So
you know.
all
And you get
right.
to see what's his name, the dragon. That was
Oh,
one of the hardest toys to find.
right.
Original,
The guy that was the keeper of the Khan power.
the cop.
Um, oh, I forget what his name is.
Is
It's the Magnificent something,
yeah.
and yeah, but
I
I
want to
forgot
say
what
like
his
a
name was.
Gwildor or Gendor or something with a G in it,
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
like,
like Gandor or something, or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah,
I love it. The whole. I love the
yeah,
part of it. You didn't see Beastman, you didn't see Merman, which I'm kind of glad. You didn't see a lot
yeah.
of the old
No, you
bad
saw
guys.
more of the
You saw
Horde
more of the
guys.
Horde guys, which I was
Yeah,
cool with. I was like, you got to see was it the what was the hairy one that was Grizzlor,
Grizzlor. Yeah, we saw
Grizzlor,
we saw Grizzlor,
Leech. You saw
Leech,
Leech.
uh,
What was the guy with the spinning
Lasher, Lasher, who is the guy with like the tail, the whip tail. Um, that's Lasher. He also whips his tongue, but they use his tongue there. I forget
okay.
what the dude with the big eye, the buggy eyes is that shoots
Yeah,
lasers
I
out of
forget
him.
his name too, but I know.
Um, what was the other one? There's one more. Uh, Balls. I can't remember, but it's cool to see all those
Yeah,
guys because I was like,
yeah,
oh, sweet, all the
yeah. And
horde guys.
I liked how he's like Hordak sitting there and he's like, I hire well. I
Yeah,
was like,
I never
oh,
have to do anything. I hire
thing
well.
well. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's badass. I was like, that's
Right.
exactly who Hordak. He even did the snort when he laughed too.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
know.
notice
That was
that?
great.
I
Oh,
was like, oh, I was like, how much did you have to? You had to put a little extra bonus to be like, okay, when you laugh, you have to snort. I'm like,
right.
oh,
Got to do justice to the character. So.
yes,
And I thought
it's
Mark Hamill did a much better Skeletor this time than he
yes.
did
You didn't hear
the
the
first time.
Joker as much, like in my
Right.
head, and like I said, him and William Shatner doing the back and forth as they're talking to each other in
Yeah.
the head, and that was that was a big part of it. And I love the Skeletech design. I love that too. That's almost as good as Skelegod.
Yeah. Um,
I think the Skeletech figure is coming out because I saw that
I
on
think so
Entertainment
too.
Earth. So
I
that'll
agree.
definitely I'll have to buy that for my Skeletor collection. So
Right. All right. Well, that's about it, guys. Next week we'll have Grant and Marvin on hanging out.
yep.
It'll be another Comicsburg takeover. It's a good time. Other than that, I guess we'll see everybody at Happy Valley at the end of the month. And if you catch us in the stores, cool. And
Yep.
keep an eye out for some more announcements for Three Rivers. Check out some of the sales we got going on at NDC. And remember to support your local comic shop. Doesn't have to be us, but it needs to be somebody. Help somebody keep their lights on. That's all that matters.
Mhm.
Um, and physical media over digital, always, 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 always. If you can help it.